What up, good people, man? You are tuned in to another episode of the Ultimate 216 Show. I am your host, Earl of Pearl. Remember to ring that bell, hit the like button, hashtag U216. Let me know where you're watching from. Make sure you tell a friend. Subscribe to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show YouTube page. Don't forget to catch our flagship show Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And of course, support all of our spinoff shows. Three things I want to get to real quick, man. The Guardians take on the Detroit Tigers in Detroit. Game 3 of the ALDS. Alex Cobb gets the start for the Cleveland Guardians. It'll be a bullpen game for the Detroit Tigers. Guardians looking to go up there, handle their business. We're going to talk about Deshaun Watson and how much longer he will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And then we're going to talk about who the real laughing stock is in the city of Cleveland. Is it the franchise or is it us, the fan base? Let's just go ahead and jump into it. Listen. The Cleveland Browns continue to put lipstick on the pig, and we continue to go out there and kiss it when they put it in front of us. It seems like that ever since Jimmy Haslam has taken over this organization, we keep living off blind faith and hope. We keep living off a dream that one day everything is going to be okay. What the Cleveland Browns have been great at, in my opinion, under his ownership, is selling tickets, selling merchandise, promos, finding a way to galvanize the fan base at our lowest hour, at our darkest hour, in order to line his pockets. And that's seemingly what it's been since he has taken over this team. By the way, we are coming up on the anniversary of Jimmy Haslam being the Cleveland Browns owner. He took over this team October 25th, 2012 officially. And according to statmoves.com, since that time, the Cleveland Browns are 69, 122, and 1. I'm going to say that again. The Cleveland Browns record to date with Jimmy Haslam as the owner is 69, 122, and 1. Since that time, we have had 5 different head coaches and a plethora of different starting quarterbacks. So the question is, or my statement is, in reality, the Cleveland Browns aren't the laughing stock. We are as a fan base, because the Cleveland Browns continue to put lipstick on the pig, sell it to us, and we continue to buy it and go kiss it. That's just the truth. Earlier today on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, Jay Crawford said something that definitely triggered me, said something that definitely caught my attention, and I'm going to pull it up for you all right here. And that's what really caused me to title this podcast, or this episode of this podcast, the way that I did. You know, Jay spoke to basically the levels of toxic that goes on in the Cleveland Browns organization. Now, clearly everything starts at the top with Jimmy Haslam. And then second in line, it's got to be Paul DePodesta. I think us as fans, we go week to week shifting blame. I'll take it on the chin first. You know, is it Deshaun Watson? Is it the offensive line? Is it the lack of the running game? Is it the defense being overhyped? Is it the play calling from Kevin Stefanski? Is it the scheme not working? Is it Andrew Berry not knowing how to acquire the talent? Or is it everything above so? It seems to me that if you hear all the tea leaves nationally and locally this particular week, that really nobody in the organization has some real say-so. You know who does? Paul DePodesta. Take a listen to what Jay had to say about Paul.
DePodesta has spent more of his time with the Browns in the grayest area of the Browns' power structure. The article goes on to say that he has won Jimmy Haslam's favor, and DePodesta is quoted in this piece as saying, "I tell Jimmy, and he's listening, get the coach in place and the general manager in place, and everything will fall in line after that. I know I'll be here." So that tells me that when they were hiring Barry and when they were hiring Stefanski, the one doing the interview, Jimmy Haslam, made it very, very clear, you will step in line behind Paul DePodesta. We want to march to the same song, but he's the band leader. And DePodesta confirms as much in this article from 2024. And there's a lot. Everyone should Google it and read it. It's Forbes 2020. It's Paul DePodesta and the mystery of what he does for this team. I know you said the play calling doesn't matter so much. To me, as a fan who's making a decision, how much longer can I put up with this? And I'm asking that question, maybe for the first legitimate time in my life. What I have to see is that the people running the organization aren't so tone deaf that they're going to finally come to the conclusion that everybody else that's watching pro football and the Browns has come to. This experiment failed miserably. It is over. Turn the page. That's it.
By the way,
and if they can't come to that conclusion, I don't know how long I can blindly march behind this song and with this band that's going to walk me right over a cliff.
That was Jay Crawford earlier today on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and I think Jay was 100% right. Now, I know some of our fan base, man, they beat up on Jay, and they really don't agree with a lot he has to say, but I thought he was spot on. And so it clearly tells you where the buffer lies, and it clearly tells you who has some real power. I found a quote that was written in an article, I think July of 2022, by WKYC Channel 3. And in this quote, this is a quote from Jimmy Haslam speaking to the media the very first day he was introduced as the Cleveland Browns owner. Jimmy said, "There's no reason why this can't be a winning franchise. Everything's here, right? There's no reason. If they don't, I'll accept the blame. It's our fault. We didn't execute like we should. Every other piece is in place here. Great fan base. You have the money you need. We just have to execute." The Cleveland Browns has failed to execute since Jimmy Haslam has been the owner of this franchise. And I know me, myself, I like to point to how the fact that Jimmy spends money and gives us everything we need to go out here and be successful. But if you're going to spend money and constantly be the owner that wants to oversee and have your word be the final word that's being said, and you're not allowing the people that you hired to do their job, then this is an organization that's going nowhere fast. So based on your own words in 2012, then we have to put this on you. Again, according to statmoose.com, the Cleveland Browns are 69, 122 and 1 with Jimmy Haslam as the owner of this team. You know, as I do this recording, I can't think of everything off the top of my head that has transpired. But I do know it seems like it's been on more than one occasion that Jimmy Haslam has kind of put his hand in the pot and made some decisions that were quite honestly toxic. You know, when you talk about things like, you know, forcing an organization to draft Johnny Manziel, or having your GM or however it played out send text messages down to the sideline about who should be playing or what plays should be called, or how about when you hired Rob Trubisky and Chud gets fired really at the end of the season for no damn apparent reason at all. And then you replace him with Mike Pettin, who had never really had a legit coaching position in the NFL before. And not only that, when you introduce Mike Pettin to the media, you kind of left him up there, you know, by himself. When Jimmy Haslam took over as owner of the Cleveland Browns, he admittedly did not know what he was doing. You know, he would always say lines like, "Yeah, I talked to a lot of people here. I talked to a lot of people there. I was advised here. I was advised there." You know, you look at the people that he hired at time, the banners, the Lombardis that was put in place. It kind of helped create this toxic environment that has been in place. And then, you know, you got a guy like Paul DePodesta, who's a Moneyball baseball guy, overseeing pretty much everything that happens with the day-to-day football operations of the Cleveland Browns, all the way down to play calling or game plans. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. And then we wonder why we're going nowhere fast as a franchise. This is the same franchise that went 1-15 and 0-16. And you know what I did as a goofy? You want to know what I did, Earl of Pearl? I went and bought season tickets back to back, right? Even when there's change, even when there's mass turnover, and we all collectively say that we are done with the Cleveland Browns, somehow, some way, they find a way to draw us back in by winning the offseason. And that's what I mean by, if the Cleveland Browns have not been good at anything since Jimmy Haslam has taken over as the owner, they have been good at one thing: promoting, selling pipe dreams, putting lipstick on a pig, selling it to us, and we go out there and kiss it every single time. I think it's an absolute joke. And when we talk about this being a laughingstock franchise, a laughingstock football team, no, it's not. We the laughingstock. We a laughingstock fan base because we so diehard, we so loyal to a franchise who has shown us nothing but toxic behavior. We can't even get out of our own way. You know, it's funny that the running joke here in Cleveland is men in the city of Cleveland are more invested in the Cleveland Browns, are more invested in trying to fix that relationship, knowing it's toxic, than we are with our significant other. That should say a lot about where we are as a fan base. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Are we toxic, or is the Cleveland Browns as a franchise toxic? Or is it a little bit of both? Don't forget, man, to check out all the spinoff shows right here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show YouTube channel. The Ultimate 216 Show, the Ultimate Cavs Show, the Ultimate Brown Show, the Ultimate Guardian Show, and the newly Ultimate Cleveland Buckeyes Show, as we give you 4 to 5 spinoff shows plus our flagship show to give you content every day of the week. So shout out to UCSS. Make sure you ring that bell and you subscribe to get the latest and all the notifications. All right, so many of you who can see clear as day pretty much know Deshaun Watson has not played well all season. Statistically, he is the worst quarterback in the NFL, and the Commanders game, I think, was the final nail in his coffin collectively from the Cleveland Browns fan base, national media, local media, etc. I think that in totality, that we are fed up, we are frustrated, we feel like this entire experiment has failed, and we are ready to move on. And let me just say this. I am a guy who has been a supporter of Deshaun Watson. In fact, when the Cleveland Browns had 2 number 1 draft picks in 2017, I wanted one of those draft picks to be Deshaun Watson. And so when the Cleveland Browns had an opportunity to trade for him, I was ecstatic. I thought that at said time, the Cleveland Browns was making the right move, but it turns to find out that I was wrong. And what I'm about to say now might be a little controversial to some people, but this is just me keeping it real on how I feel. I'm not judging. I'm just giving my opinion. One of the things that I should have looked at as a red flag at that time, remember, Deshaun Watson had just signed a $165 million guaranteed contract, or $165 million was the guaranteed part of the contract extension he signed with the Houston Texans. The year before he played his last season, the Texans win 4 games. He comes out and says, I don't want to play for this franchise no more. I want to be traded, etc. He makes the decision on his own to sit out the season. Now, shortly after the trade request was announced, here comes all these different allegations, but the NFL took no action saying that Deshaun Watson couldn't play football. He made the choice on his own to sit out that year. And I can understand the side of the coin that says, if I want to be traded, if I don't want to play for this team, financially, I can't afford to risk injury. But then there's this other side of it, the football side of it. To me, it seems like that because your team went 4-12, that you felt like the guys that was in your locker room was not good enough and you wanted to go play elsewhere. And I just feel like as a quarterback and a guy who wears that C, I think that's a bad look to leave your guys out there kind of left for dead on their own while you seek out greener pastures. I think that rubs people wrong who play this sport, who understands how mentally and physically taxing this sport is and can be. And when you leave guys out there like that to dry, you just hang them out there like that to dry, it makes me wonder, how are you perceived? What is your perception of a quarterback? And you go out, the trade happens, and because of the suspension, you miss pretty much damn near a whole nother year. And I'm getting to the point to where I believe those 2 years of football really impacted Deshaun Watson on another level, a level that I had no anticipation that it would impact him on. I think there has been times to where you see glimpses of athleticism, you see glimpses of, the old Deshaun who can, make plays when things break down, etc. But those things have become so far few in between that what you see obvious is a man who has lost his feel for the game, a man that has lost his swag or his mojo, so to speak. When Deshaun Watson is out there, nothing about Deshaun Watson's play looks like that he has a high level of confidence in himself or the scheme that is being ran. And so with that being said, I think that Kevin Stefanski needs to look in the mirror, look at the rest of the guys in that locker room, and make a sound decision on what's the best course of action going forward. And let me say this, because you all have watched the shows and you all have seen the speculation. Damn what the owner say. Like, you lose your own credibility. And clearly he came out and said Deshaun Watson is still going to be a starting quarterback. Kevin Stefanski spoke to the media earlier today. And, this was per Mary Kay Cabot. He said that I talk to Deshaun every week. We need to focus on our players and not what's going on outside the building. So there's nothing that says that he has changed his mind about that. And so the question is, how much longer are you going to keep this mindset of trotting Deshaun Watson out there if he's not playing quality football? Are you willing to risk losing the locker room, your job, or this season, or this fan base based on one player? Like, if Deshaun Watson can't turn it around, if Deshaun Watson can't play better, and it's obvious that the body language, that the chemistry and the frustration is at an all-time high, and you don't do anything to like rectify that situation, regardless of what your bosses say, then what does that say about you? I think the fan base are tired. It's tired. I think the fan base knows we deserve better. I think the fan base is ready to move on from what has been a failed experiment. I've always said I'm a Cleveland Browns fan first, and I have grown frustrated with myself, seemingly always finding myself trying to pick 3 or 4 plays from a game to highlight why I believe that Deshaun Watson still has it. And the truth of the matter is, man, and I'm just speaking for Earl, if I got to go through all of that to try to prove my point about a player, then maybe the dude is not who I thought he was, or that, he's just not that same player that he once was. And that's okay. I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind dropping the ball on certain things like that. I'm an opinion guy. I'm not a reporter or anything like that. I give my sports opinion. And it sucks that this thing to this point has not worked out. It looks more and more likely like it won't work out in the city of Cleveland or ever for him. But all I know is Kevin Stefanski cannot continue to trot out Deshaun Watson as the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback and expect that things is going to turn around. Because I'm going to tell you right here, right now, the Cleveland Browns are going to deal with a lot of injuries. I believe, according to FanDuel, we 9-point underdogs going into this weekend matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles, who has not played well, who's coming off a bye week, whose quarterback is under scrutiny, but he's getting his 2 top receiving targets back. And, they're looking to turn things around at home. I don't see things getting better for the Cleveland Browns no time soon. And if Deshaun Watson comes out here against the Philadelphia Eagles and play exactly like he did against the Washington Commanders, I don't see how you can go out there in front of the media, again, Kevin Stefanski, and say that Deshaun Watson is still your starting quarterback going forward. Eventually, it's going to come a time to where you got to worry about everybody else in that locker room and not just Deshaun Watson. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Is it this week? Is it next week? Is it the week after that? Or are we stuck with Deshaun Watson as the starting quarterback for the rest of the season if he doesn't improve his play? Drop your thoughts in the comments, man, and we'll take it from there. Don't forget, 3:08 p.m., the Cleveland Guardians are getting ready to take on the Detroit Tigers in Game 3 of the ALDS. I'm not mad at Emmanuel Clase. I think Emmanuel Clase is a beast. I think he just got, and it's cool. I think Pedro Martinez put it best. I feel sorry for whoever Emmanuel Clase faces next, or probably for the next 70 to 80 innings that he pitched, because knowing Emmanuel Clase, he's going to be dominant. He's probably not going to give up any runs going forward, and it's going to be trouble all over the place. Now, outside of that, I am looking at the Cleveland Guardians as a team that can take Game 3. It's going to be a bullpen game. I think we got to jump on them early. Clearly, the first team that gets runs on the board in this series has won said game. I'm looking for Jose Ramirez to bounce back from a dismal performance against Tariq Skubal, which was something that I didn't expect coming into that game. I think he was 9 for 21 in his career with a 4.21 batting average. So y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm looking at the Guardians to win this game. I think Cobb would do enough to get by. Stephen Vogt to turn this thing over to the bullpen, and we'll be A-OK. I truly don't think we're going to get an opportunity to see Skubal again. I think we handle our business in Detroit. I know it's going to be a crazy environment. They have not hosted an MLB playoff game in about 10 years. But I think we're going to be able to overcome that environment and do enough to get a win. I think that'll suck the life out of them. I think we'll take game 4 as well. Get ready to face the winner of the other series and go on from there, man. So just wanted to stop in and give y'all a little show ahead of the Cleveland Guardians game. Don't forget, man, to like, subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell to all of the spinoff shows. You're going to get an Ultimate Cavs show from Mikey McNuggets coming today. You're going to get an Ultimate Buckeye show from Dustin and Titus Powell coming in at some point today. So till next time, and remember, be great and spread love. Being great come with a price. Spreading love, that thing is priceless. Till next time, I am out of here.